We call it ordinary time, and it's a countdown. You know, we're coming into what, the 19th Sunday of the year? Is that right?
18th, but.
Wait, no, the 20th Sunday.
20th Sunday. See,
Oh, I have
and we
18.
count the time until what?
Until Christmas.
No, we count the time until what?
Advent.
Advent. But it's not just the time for the shopping season before Christmas. It's actually expecting Christ to be here any minute. And Christians have always lived with that kind of mindset, so that we're not tied to the things of earth necessarily. We live on earth, but we're not tied to them. You know, everything that we have here on earth and everything that we use, you know, it's for us. But we're not to grow big crops and build bigger barns or more rooms on our house to fit in more stuff. You know, without this introduction, today's gospel lesson will not make sense. See, because, you know, some people have their Bibles marked, you know, with all their favorite verses, okay? I can tell you this, most Bibles are not marked with regards to what we have this week's liturgy. See, you know, our ancestors in the faith, you know, for the first 2 centuries lived underground. What I mean by that is they had to keep their faith hidden. If you have any relatives, you know, I have some from Czechoslovakia, you know, they can tell you what it was like under communism. I mean, God forbid that anybody would accuse you of anything, you know, because you'd be removed, especially at night, and, you know, taken to the police department and shipped to Siberia. You know, they suffered persecution. You know, people didn't go to football games. Oh no, they got their bag of popcorn and they went to the Colosseum to watch the wild animals eat the Christians. This is not funny, but it's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. You know, we have brothers and sisters in China who are persecuted because they want to have more than one child. Okay, we have brothers and sisters in Egypt now, you know, who are being eliminated through the civil war. Both sides, Muslim, beating up on them, you know, burned churches, you know, refugees, millions of families crossing borders just to kind of try to stay alive, you know. You know, our ancestors in the faith had to endure many things, but their goal was always the coming of Jesus, you know, to take us out of this world, and take us home to our eternal home in heaven. With this in the background, you know, we want to do our opening prayer on the yellow sheet. My copy too. People who lived in that area were fierce, and they were nature worshipers. You know, but he wasn't afraid of what he was going to have to do that day. But you know, he wanted to remind himself that Christ would be beside us. You know, reverently, in the name of the Father, we have a Christian witness to the world. You know, that Jesus has come. Jesus is with us. We are united to him and to one another as the family of the church. We're looking at this blue sheet.
Lies before us,
Wow.
while keeping our eyes fixed on Jesus, the
Amen.
leader
Amen.
and
Again,
perfecter
I
of
want
faith.
to interrupt you there, okay? Persevere in running the race. My second last assignment was on the hill, St. Felicitas, now St. John of the Cross. And I came there the week before they celebrated the rededication of the remodeling of the church. The pastor was celebrating 50 years that Sunday. The assistant priest was leaving, doing reassignment, and I was bumping him out. And so I was there with my paint crew, decorating my room, for Mass, Jesus, Lord, what do you need me to do today? I'm here to do your will. I always say a prayer, when I go to Mass, and I just say, here I am, Lord. Here am I, Lord. Yeah, here am I, Lord. I come to do your will. And just recently, I was impressed by somebody who gave a sermon, and so I added a word to that phrase, which is my morning offering. Here am I, Lord. I come to do your will. And I added the word, whatever. Whatever. We're running the race. I hope what we've just done is color the way that you think of Advent. Advent, yes, in a way, it's a time of preparation for Christmas, but not really. Advent says we're looking for Jesus to come again in glory, in power and glory. Where do we have that picture in the sanctuary? Is it in the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception, or is it in Rome? Jesus is a very large figure, in a red robe. Did you recall that?
You know what, I have that picture.
Okay, you'll get back.
It's big.
Well, but I mean, it forms the background of an altar somewhere. And I think it's the Basilica of the Immaculate Conception in Washington, D.C., but I'm not sure. When Jesus comes again, he will not come, 185 pounds, maybe about 6'1". As we imagine him, how he lived on earth, he will come in power and glory, and he will be so overwhelming because he will come as God, see, and he will get all of his servants lined up on this side and this side, and say, okay, now let's go with a pencil, just say, let's go, let's see what we've got here. James,
Yeah.
That's the way it is, though.
we should, we should, when LeBron James left town, see, I have a nephew who's 16 years old, I have a couple of nephews and nieces, and I was over the house, where was this? I'm trying to think of Hinckley suburb, and I was looking for small talk, and I said, Matthew, I said, how did your friends take LeBron James leaving you should never let yourself be that much impressed with football, baseball, and that you bring about a love-hate relationship within yourself,
Not really.
Well, no, Carolyn, you know what I'm talking about.
I like,
I'm talking about an extreme, and no, but I mean, you're talking about, not really, but it really does work out there for a whole lot of people, and youth are even encouraged